Hey Leos, welcome to your love reading for December 2019. This is for Leo, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. Do check out your general monthly reads if you guys haven't yet. Those are up for all the signs. So we're going to get into your love reading here. We're going to get into romance for the end of this decade, the end of this year. I don't always do love readings for the monthlies, but I was feeling it as it was, again, the end of the decade. So there's a lot of really big energy kicking about. I'm going to be working on your 2020 stuff pretty soon. Leos, you and Aquarius gave me the most intense readings for this past month. So honestly, I was a little bit hesitant to do your love reading because the last time I did yours for the general monthly for this month, it gave me heart palpitations for the rest of the day. I felt very sick. So your energy is pretty intense. So we're going to see how this month plays out for love for you. I'm going to use the Gustav Klimt deck here. Let's check out what your general energy is towards love. Love and romance for Leo, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. What is their general energy for relationships and love this month? I'm going to wait for one to pop out on its own. And if it doesn't resonate, guys, don't take it. The messages aren't for you. Do check out your other placements, like your moon, your rising, but especially so your Venus for love. And I am taking half off of any 20-minute or longer reading that is booked between now and the end of the year, so the end of 2019. You can book any 20-minute or longer reading for half off, or you can, again, book a reading for somebody else that's 20 minutes or longer for half the price. So check that out, guys. All the info is below in the description box. Why are we not? Oh, okay. There we go. Well, that's why. Let's see what your goals are. Your general focus, your goals are here. In terms of love, romance for Leos. Ooh, interesting. And when that comes up, I know that we're going to need a clarifier for that, but I'm not going to use it with this deck, actually. So your general energy in terms of love and romance this month is Five of Pentacles reversed. Again, this is my Gustav Klimt deck, so very shiny, very nude. But Five of Pentacles reversed is a card of kind of coming out of a period of feeling very isolated, lonely, desolate. Definitely a sense of lack in general. There has been a lack of affection, a lack of just general life excitement, and especially so connection between you and a loved one. Maybe you've been actually physically separated, but we're coming out of separation from a romantic interest, or again, we're coming out of a feeling of isolation, a feeling of being very much on our own. Even if we're in a relationship, it feels like you felt lonely, you felt a lack of love or lack of physical affection possibly. But again, there's just this, there might have been spiritual warmth, but it's also, again, a deep sense of loneliness. When I get it reversed again, there is this, I don't know, it's almost like, I want to say also, sorry, I totally lost what I was saying because something else came in. But some of you, it's like finances and financial issues. Money has kept you apart from a love situation, or has kept you at bay from a loved one. Or again, maybe we've been focused so much on career, money, income stuff, like more pentacle-based stuff, that we haven't really been able to connect in a way, in the way that we would like to with a lover or somebody in our love life. Seven of Swords, interestingly enough, is what your goals and focus is in terms of love this month. And I'm going to have to look a little deeper at that. We're going to look at that after we pull the rest of a general spread here for what's going to be happening. I'm going to have a little bit of water first, though. And I recommend you all do the same. Keep hydrated. It will keep you from being depressed. Surprisingly enough, if you get very dehydrated and you don't drink enough water, you will actually be less happy. So make sure to drink a lot of water. Let's see here. How does this month play out for you guys? What's happening this month for you guys? I don't really know if I want to put them upright or reversed. Well, those ones came out very specifically. Again, this isn't for like couples, singles. It's just a general love read on the energy. Yeah, interesting. Your readings, and I have to say, like, you and Aquarius have been having a really hard time with a lot of the energies and a lot of the changing that needs to be done, which I have to say is really interesting because you'd expect almost a more difficult time with Taurus and Scorpio because Uranus is in Taurus. And yet you and Aquarius, for totally different reasons, are going through like some really tough lessons. And if you guys haven't, I would highly recommend checking out my full moon in Gemini video, at least the first 5 minutes or so of it, because I talk a lot about the astrology that is coming up here as we end the year and as we move, you know, through all these eclipses and full moons, new moons. There's a lot of really intense energy, and a lot of it is really Capricornian. They're making some big conjunctions. And I talk as much as I can about it in that video, and this is looking a lot like that kind of energy, where we're having these, let me see actually if I have any of my astrology notes from that. I think I actually have them nearby, so I'm going to look at them a little bit, just because I think that the messages that I was getting, or, you know, the astrology that was coming up then, is really important for what's coming up in your reading here. Because how it plays out, it's quite a topsy-turvy one. I would say if you're trying to reconcile, come together with somebody in a really equal kind of partnership way, you're going to have a hard time meeting in the middle here. We're going to have a hard time bringing opposing trends, opposing viewpoints, anything that isn't fully aligned within a relationship or situation. It's going to be really difficult to come into an equal place here to, again, find common ground with somebody. It feels like there's going to be miscommunication, and if you've been wanting to hear, especially from a Sagittarius or an Aries, it feels like you probably won't. But I think, you know, your first card out here, and I have to say, I did see it reversed first, but I was kind of compelled to turn it. So this month kind of feels like we're realizing maybe towards the more, or at least towards now, at least around now, that we want more control. We want more of an authority. We want more control in our love life. We want somebody that can really step up to the plate and also match our energy. Because for some of you, you have this energy, but you're looking for somebody that matches that with you. And maybe you don't have that right now. We might also be realizing or coming to some intense realizations about, I think, where our passion lies. And I think for some of us, whoever or whatever, you know, whatever kind of relationship or whoever we're with right now, we might be realizing that, I don't know, for some of you, I just kind of get the sense that it's lacking passion, or it's lacking the drive that you're looking for. Maybe they're kind of in the driver's seat and you're not, and maybe, you know, there's just a lack of passion for X, Y, and Z reasons, but we're kind of getting to this point of grappling with a decision, trying to come to terms with, you know, okay, I have to go this way or that way. I have to make a decision here. And the King of Wands is reversed right after that, which is a really interesting energy for you guys, because we see, again, you know, the Emperor here, we see a King of Wands, which was what I would represent, or, you know, in terms of court cards, is the one that I would most associate with you guys. So when you see the King of Rods reversed, there's just a lot of, I'm trying to find like a way to describe the King of Rods for me reversed. It's just he's very strict and harsh and kind of all over the place with his energy. He also, again, has this lack of control. So I feel like a lot of you guys are very difficultly, like, you're trying to grab control here. You're trying to get some type of, you know, order and control within your love life and in terms of a decision. And yet we also feel very uneasy, it feels like, about making the decision. But by the end of the month, because we do have the King of Wands reversed, and then we have an Ace of Swords coming up, and then we have the King of Cups reversed. So we have two Kings reversed here, you know, right around this Ace of Swords. Did I say Ace of Wands? I didn't mean to if I did. So we're going to pull some clarifiers here, because this is a very interesting read for you guys, and I just think there's a lot of deep stuff going on here. But let me talk a little bit about some of the messages from, again, it's right before the Gemini full moon that I'm reading this, so that's why I feel like a lot of that energy is kind of coming up here, and it will be for the rest of the month, because we do have this conjunction. We have like a triple Capricorn conjunction, and one of them is sticking around for the rest of the month. So it just feels very much like we need to be okay with relying less on ourselves and on others. And some of us might be realizing, as we realize this, as we realize our unhealthy attachments and our unhealthy need to have, again, this sense of independence, this sense of, I don't need help, I don't need anybody to lean on no matter what. And those are kind of the things that are coming up again in this Capricornian energy right now, with all these planets in Capricorn, all this stuff. You can look into the astrology specifically of it, and again, watch that first part of the full moon in Gemini video. That is going to be more. So I'm going to explain that a lot better than I probably am now in terms of the astrology. I'm talking just about the energy and what I'm picking up on right now. But one of the things I did talk about was, how we diminish our own value, the value that we have in ourselves, based on needing help, based on not being fully independent, based on not being exactly where we want to be or as in control as we would like to be, feeling like a failure because we have to ask for help, feeling like a failure because some of our relationships we are realizing might actually be codependent or not. Or you might not even be able to depend on that person at all. It could be one way or the other, but it feels like there's a lot of opposition, and we're really looking at how we can show up for ourselves, how we can really take responsibility in these sectors, how we can really show up and problem solve within relationships here. So a lot of fears and need to control them are going to be coming up, and I really do feel that has a lot to do with the Seven of Swords in terms of what's coming up here. So let's pull some clarifiers and talk a little bit more about this. Especially you guys, there's this need to perform and to put on, this type of energy, when really it just feels like what's really behind that is, King of, why I keep calling him swords, King of Wands reverse and King of Cups reverse, which is a very manipulative and emotionally manipulative, energetically manipulative kind of energy. And for some of you, you might be realizing that the way we've communicated or the relationships that we bring in are here because we can control them. And when we finally are realizing that, maybe this is all out of alignment for a reason, and why that is probably because we look for this need to control, this need to know, what the outcome is going to be, this need to already know, I'm going to break up with this person eventually, oh, I'm going to, end this relationship eventually, or, this person, it's like kind of, you can't put the horse before the cart, the court before the, I don't know what I was going to say there, the horse, you can't put the horse before the cart. I'm sorry, the cart before the horse. I'm saying it all backwards myself now. So let's find a better way to describe this with these cards here, because some intense messages for sure. Oh, yeah, we're waking up. I mean, Seven of Swords, the Tower is going to come out. So if you have been, yeah, Five of Wands, there will be fighting, there will be discordance, and I think it has a lot to do Yes. Oh my God. Unhealthy relationships and how we approach them. So we're looking at the health of how we approach relationships here. That's for sure. That's why this is kind of an intense month. And that's why you're not going to see the progression towards the goals that you want. But that's because you're being forced to stop and really grapple with how we go about communicating, how we go about, again, exerting control within a relationship here, because the Tower is underneath, this Seven of Swords energy, and so is the Five of Wands. That's a lot of conflict. That's a lot of conflicting, really tough energy. It just feels like like in a flash, the road that you have traveled has suddenly changed. There's sudden disruptions. There's issues. There's a lot of problems that are going to suddenly crop up because we're really looking at these areas of insecurity, these areas of fear, paranoia. I'm afraid of being abandoned, so I abandon the situation. I'm afraid of opening my, of really showing my true self. And as soon as I do, I feel vulnerable, so I flip out and I create problems. Or maybe it's, about if you don't feel you're getting enough love, or you're not getting the attention or something that you want. Maybe we're starting, nasty behaviors, acting up, withdrawing our love, being passive aggressive. So all these little problems are going to come up, and it's going to feel very much like a Tower moment this month in terms of how we go about relationships, how we communicate, and if it's really healthy for the long term. You're going to really see things in some harsh lights, and I think a lot of people are going to have a lot of harsh little things to, you know, pick at and say about you. You know, you should be doing this and you should be doing that. And why aren't you doing it this way? And why isn't it that way? And a lot of it has to do, I think, for some of you, with how you want to get back together with somebody or something that is ultimately not healthy, but you feel there is stability there. So it's needing to really look at the situations that we are in and, you know, why we keep them around. Because when the devil shows up, there are unhealthy relationships here, unhealthy tendencies, cycles, things that we adhere to, illusory beliefs. You know, I have to stay in this because of this reason, or I'm in this because I'm sexually attracted with this person, but there really isn't much else. So I built this relationship where I'm gonna, you know, keep going back. You know, it's like Gollum with the ring. Is that really a healthy relationship? No. And I know sometimes I see the Six of Cups as a very positive card, but with all these surrounding energies, like, it feels pretty negative. It feels like we're focused on, or, you know, we're bringing up these, or again, what is the word? Enacting these, false old security mechanisms. You know, it's like, oh, this will make me feel comfortable right now, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to keep myself comfortable and go back to something that I know, go back to behaviors that I know, go back to that, you know, old unhealthy relationship that I know. Even if it was a healthy relationship that you want to get back together with, it's not going to happen this month because you're not in a healthy position about how you get it. And it feels very emotionally and energetically manipulative. So I really think, and I'm not trying to call you guys out and say you're manipulative psychos and blah, blah, blah. Everybody has unhealthy tendencies in love. Everybody goes through these things. We're not, I mean, it's a process that a lot of people don't work through, and they continue to bring unhealthy tendencies and, again, insecurities, problems into relationships. I'm not trying to say that you might even be manipulating the situation on purpose, but there is manipulation here, and I know it's coming from you. And whether you're manipulating yourself or, you know, oh, well, I want to get back together with this person. It's like sometimes some of you get to a certain point within a relationship, I'm also getting, and then you kind of decide, oh no, it's like too close for comfort. Like, they're going to see me and like, I'm going to have to, you know, get to this codependent or like more intense level, and I'm not ready for it. So let me go run away and back to that other unhealthy person and situation that I know is always going to be there to knock about. It's like you want to go punch a punching bag rather than climb this mountain. It's like you turn around, you're like, I think I gotta go back to punching that punching bag instead of changing. So let's look at some advice and guidance here. You gotta ground yourself in your emotions. And interesting, the Knight of Wands comes up here. What is he saying? It's very like, it feels kind of victorious, honestly. If you're willing to emotionally, I mean, it's not going to feel comfortable when it's the King of Cups reversed. When he's reversed, our emotions are not stable. We're feeling very insecure emotionally. We're feeling very upset. We're probably crying a lot. There's also this tendency, again, to be really emotionally immature. So when these kind of feelings come up, when these kind of emotions come up, and the tendency to give into that, you know, negative way of acting out our emotions, our negative ways of trying to receive love, it's like ground yourself, 10 of Coins. And yes, right now we're in this emotionally inept place, and like there's a lot of like all over the place with emotions, but this is very solid, stable, grounded. So find your way to ground yourself, or figure out, you know, again, what would give you that 10 of Pentacles? What kind of relationship, or what are you looking for in a relationship that would give you that type of stability, something and someone to rely on? Because it feels like you guys look for this, but you're not willing to do what it takes to really get there. Nine of Wands is, can you fight the fight? Can you fight the good fight here? And it also calls on this need to not be as defensive. Whenever I get the Nine of Wands, it brings up defensiveness for me. And if we're overly defensive, we cannot change. However, it also just feels like, you know, again, victory after a very intense struggle. Yeah, Six of Swords. You will be moving on, but you have to put in the work. Jupiter in Capricorn asks us, all right, if you really want this, you got to put in a little bit of work here. And that's okay. You can do this. I believe in you. Relationships, love. Where is this all taking us, leading us? Because there seems to be more. It's like a lot of grappling with people, and I just feel like we're going to have a hard time communicating, and we're not going to be receiving the communication or, you know, the step-ups in relationships that we're looking for, and it's because we might be trying to step up with the wrong people and bring things into alignment that are not meant to come into alignment. that instead are meant to be analyzed, looked at, and said, is this really healthy? Is this going to help me into the future? Should I do it? Again, the Two of Swords comes out. 2 cards. Same card, different deck here. We got Two of Swords. We have decisions to make. We're at a crossroads. So how will you go about this? Which way will you go with this situation? For some of you, I do feel that we're leaving unhealthy situations. I mean, look at this. And now the Eight of Swords is upright. How interesting, because those cards actually came out next to each other in that other deck as well. So we have mirroring cards here, intuition or intuitives, card readers. If these messages are especially meant for you to really make some decisions about which way you want to go and start putting in the action, the energy, communication to getting to where you want to go, putting in the energy, you know, the right into moving forward, into moving on, into better ways of communicating, better ways of going about things that aren't based upon our insecurities and trying to get what we need through underhanded or manipulative tactics. Yes, Four of Wands. And then we come into alignment there. I really like that I've been seeing the Four of Wands a lot as we move into January 2020. It feels like, you know, the doorway to this beautiful new place where we can get to where we want to go. It feels like manifestation of our desires, of harmony, of joy, things finally getting to where we want them to go. It's going to feel out of alignment this month. It's going to feel weird, but as we move into January, things will align. You will see progression, but that's when we decide to face our fears, to face these uncomfortable aspects of ourselves, kind of our shadow problems here, and deal with them. Because then we open ourselves up for true love, for harmony, and true, you know, equality-based connection, an equal relationship that is, you know, truly on the same playing field. We're on the same level. We're speaking the same language here. You know what I mean? And like, that's what happened. Look what comes out after this. The world, your highest attainment of goals, achieving something beautiful, a brand new chapter that is filled with abundance of love. This is also kind of a card for your highest partner, especially with the Four of Wands. This is somebody that you could end up marrying. This could be the year that you meet that person, but we have to change and shift as we enter this year. Whew. So anyways, big messages here, guys. I'm gonna leave it there. We're gonna pull some Doreen Virtue Romance Angel cards here. And I don't want to say like specific signs that you're dealing with because I'm not getting any super specifics. Maybe a Scorpio, maybe a water sign, another fire sign. But those are the only major ones. Maybe Capricorn, but I think Capricorn energy has just been in every reading. So I think it's more... Some of you, it's like you got messed up by a water sign before that was really, that like played really mature, but was really emotionally manipulative, and that's why we're having trouble. Wow. True love comes up, forgiving and learning comes up, and so does engagement. So your love life can ascend to a higher level of commitment, but you have to be very true about, you know, your feelings here, true love. You have an opening for true love here, but we have to forgive and learn. Release, as you release and heal the past, you experience more love in your present moments. Let the ghosts go. Stop letting them affect who you are now, where you are at now. Okay? It's really, we're entering a new decade. It's time to let stuff go and stop harping and holding on to things that really don't serve us, that have never served us. People that have relationships that have never served us. Stop giving them the time of day. Because we have true love and a higher level of commitment here coming in. Good stuff. I'm not going to actually pull a Halloween oracle because I feel we got all the messages we needed. I hope you guys enjoyed this, my lovely Leos. I'm wishing you guys nothing but the absolute best for the rest of this month and into January. If you guys enjoy the love readings enough, let me know in the comments and I'll try to do them every month, okay? Thank you so, so much, guys. Again, if you want to get half off of any 20-minute or longer reading, you can if you book it before the end of 2019. You can also book one as a gift for somebody. All the information on booking a reading and stuff is all right below this video in the description box. Have a wonderful and blessed end to this year and decade, and I love you guys. Make sure to subscribe, make sure to share, and thank you. Namaste.